Welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how you can do face landmark detection on live camera preview in Expo React Native for Android using MediaPipe and Camera X. So let's get started. So first what you need to do is you just need to scroll to this documentation and click on this particular thing. It will download a MediaPipe model for you. So we will need to bundle this model inside our application. And before I proceed ahead, let me show you guys the demo as well. So here you can see I have already given the camera permission, so I'll just bring my face, and here you can see it is able to draw face landmark. I can move my mouth, I can make my eyes wide. So here you can see it is able to draw the face landmark. Depending on my face, I can move my face as well, and if I move my face out of the camera, here you can see the face landmark also disappears. If I bring back, here you can see the face landmarker is there as well. So yeah, let's see how to achieve this. So first, as usual, I have created one cheat sheet. So to create a Expo React Native project, you can just go to this particular URL over here. So let me open inside a new tab, and I'm using this blank TypeScript template, but you can use whatever template you want. So you can just create a project by running this particular command. It will create a project for you. Now I am writing native code for this, so we need to do some additional setups. There is no third-party library available at the time of me recording this video. So here you will have to select Android device first, then you will need to select development build. Then I have disabled EAS. Then you need to select your own operating system, Mac OS or Watch or Windows, whatever. Then I have already done all the steps, like installing Watchman, Cas Zulu. I have already set up Android Studio as well. I've done all this setup. Then I have already set this particular paths as well. Then here we have the source home as well. Then you need to cd into your Expo React Native project and then run this command. Then you need to run this particular command. So this will generate the Android folder for you. So let me quickly show. Here you can see, and once that is done, you need to go to this particular URL over here. So here you need to run this particular command, and this will actually ask you few questions like what should be the module name. I have kept everything as default, so just press enter. Once that is done, you should see this modules folder being created as well. Now let's see how to use it. So first go to modules, my module, and inside src go to mymodule.types.ts, and here I have commented out this URL as well as on load, because we are not passing any prop. So the URL prop has been commented, and we don't have any callback as well. So that's also I have commented out. Then you need to go to app.tsx. Let's first see how to use it. So I have added all these imports. Then here we have one state for camera permission. Then if platform is Android, and if it is equal if Android, then we request for camera permission, and if it is granted, we just change the state and we call this inside use effect. And if camera permission is granted, then we display our module view, else we display a text saying camera permission not granted, and these are all the styles for it. Then you need to go to the main Android folder, app src main android manifest.xml, and here I have added this uses feature of Android hardware camera as well as camera permission over here. Then just close it down. Then go to modules, my module, Android, go to build.gradle, and here inside dependency, firstly you need to add Google MediaPipe task vision, then camera core, camera 2, camera lifecycle, camera view, then constraint layout. And for this app compat, you can add it like this, because if this particular Kotlin language changes to if React Native decides to change the Gradle language to Kotlin, we would be safer. Currently it is using Groovy, so this particular syntax works in both Kotlin as well as Groovy, that's why. Then go to src main, and inside main you need to create an assets folder, and inside assets folder you need to drag and drop the model which we have downloaded from MediaPipe documentation. Next go to Java. First you need to create this face landmarker helper.kt. Now for package name, you can just go to mymodule.kt. Whatever first line you see over here, you can just copy paste it over here. Rest of the code I have copied it from documentation, so I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like and just copy all this code. So this is the method for detecting live stream. Okay, you don't require this method. This is for detecting live video, like this is for detecting video. We are not really using it, so if you want you can ignore this method. And this is for detecting image. Again, if you want you can ignore it. Then here we return the live stream result. Here we return the error as well. These are all the variables. Here is our data class result bundle, and here we have this interface where we implement on error, on results, as well as on empty. Then here we have this overlay view.kt file. Then again I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video and just copy all this code. Okay, then you need to go to my module.kt, and firstly what I have done is I have commented out all of these things because we are not passing any prof, we are not passing any callback as well. Then you need to go to my module view.kt. Firstly, again these are all the imports. There is some default code present related to web view. You can just delete that code. Then here is our my module view where we extend this FaceLand marker listener. Then here we initialize constraint layout, preview view, as well as overlay view. Then here we initialize background executor. Then here is FaceLand marker. Here is our image analysis, preview view, camera, as well as process camera provider. And here we get the camera facing front. Here I have defined some variables as well. Here we get hold of our activity and then our life cycle as well. Then here we add our constraint layout. Then here we add our viewfinder as well. So this all the code is related to making sure viewfinder occupy the entire width and height of the screen. And here we are calling this method. I'll come back to this later on. Then same thing for our overlay view as well. We constrain it to all sides of the screen. Then we apply the constraints. Then on background executor.execute, we first initialize our FaceLand marker helper, and then we call setup camera. Now coming to this method, so this is basically a hack which we need to do. If you don't do this, you will just see a black screen, you will not see your live camera preview. And if you want to learn more about this, you can go to this particular issue over here. Then here inside setup camera, we get hold of our camera provider future. We add a listener, we get hold of our camera provider, we call bind camera use case. Then we initialize the aspect ratio strategy. Here is our resolution selector. Then we set the camera provider. Here we initialize our camera selector as well. Then we initialize the preview view. Then we initialize image analyzer as well. Then we do it.set analyzer and we call detect face. Then we unbind our camera provider, we bind it to the life cycle, and we set surface provider as well. Then here we call detect face as well. FaceLand marker helper.detect live stream. Then inside on error, we just log it to the console, and inside on results, we just do overlay view.set results. We pass the result, input image height, input image width, and passing the live stream as well. And here we do overlay view.invalidate. Then inside on empty, we just clear our overlay view, and inside on detach from window, we shut down our background executor as well as await termination as well. So yeah, that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.